Hello everyone, welcome back to Data Science with Yash. And in our previous video, we discussed one of the most important program that is frequently asked in the interviews, that is Armstrong number program. And if you have not watched it yet, make sure to check it out. And in today's session, we are moving on to another crucial program that you might encounter in your coding interviews, that is the factorial of a given number. So first, let's understand what a factorial number is. So basically, a factorial of any non-negative integer n is the product of all the positive integers less than or equal to n, and it is denoted as n factorial. So let's take an example and you'll understand the concept better. So for example, the factorial of 5 is denoted as 5 factorial, and this is calculated as 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which is equals to 120, right? So, and these factorials are used in permutation combinations and many other areas of mathematics as well as the computer science. So this program is very much essential because basically it tests your understanding of the loops and the multiplication operations that is there in the Python. So let's get started by understanding the code here, and then I'll try to explain you the logic behind this. So here this n equals to input enter a number. Here we are taking an input from the user and basically trying to convert into integer, and this number will this number will be the one which we want to find the factorial. Let's say we have given the input number as 5. So this n is now, or for the sake of simplicity, let us take maybe n equals to 4 and factorial equals to 1. We initialize a variable factorial with value 1, and this variable will store the result of our factorial calculation. We start with 1, it is because you know that the factorial of 0 is also 1, and we multiply the subsequent numbers to it, right? And next I equals to 1, this I equals to 1, we initialize we also initialize this variable I with the value 1, and this will be our loop counter. Basically this is our loop counter. So next, well, I is less than or equals to n, which means we are using the while loop to iterate from 1 to n, because we initialize the I as 1 and then we iterate from 1 to n, and the loop will continue as long as I is less than or equal to n. And next comes the factorial equals to factorial into I. This is where we build our factorial values step by step, and after this, after multiplying, we increment it by one by one to move into the next number. So let us try to understand this by example. So n equals to 4 and we have factorial equals to 1 and I equals to 1. So in the first step we have, well, I equals to 1, so I is less than or equals to n, which means 1 is less than or equal to n is 4. This is true, right? So this is true, right? So it will go inside this body of while loop. So factorial, we have factorial equals to factorial into I. So now the value will be factorial equals to factorial is 1, and the value of I is also 1, so we have the value right now as 1. And now we are trying to increment the value of I. So I equals to I plus 1, 1 plus 1. Now we have the value as 2. So right now we have the value of factorial as 1 and I value as 2. This is the first step. And in the second iteration, now this 2 is again going to this, this is gonna go to this while loop. So 2 is also less than or equal to 4. This is also true, right? So it will go inside the body of while loop. So factorial value now will be factorial. Initially we have 1, 1, and now factorial equals to factorial into I value we have 2, so 2, so we have the factorial value as 2 right now, and I value will be I plus 1. Initially we have 2 and now it is 1, so 3, right? So again it will iterate until and unless this condition is getting false. So now I value will be I equals to 3, which is less than or equals to 4. This is true, right? So it will go inside the body of for loop. So factorial equals to what we have, factorial into I. Factorial value we have it as 2, so 2 into 3, so 6, and I value will be now 3 initial, that is I plus 1, so 3 plus 1 we have 4. So once again, this is the second iteration and this is the third iteration, and we have one more iteration, that is fourth iteration. So I equals to 4 and factorial is 6, so I, that is, sorry, 4 is less than or equals to 4. This condition is also true in the while loop. So now factorial value is, we have the factorial value as 6, so 6 into I value is 4, which is nothing but 24. So I value, now we are changing it to 4 plus 1, which is equals to 5. But now when we are trying to iterate once again, like now the final results for us, I equals to 5 and factorial is equals to 24. This is what we got. So when this 5 is again trying to iterate over this while loop, you can see the condition will be false, since 5 is less than or equals to 4, which is false. So it will jump to the next statement, that is, it will try to print the factorial of the given number is factorial, which we stored the value. Initially we started off with 1 and then multiplied the second 2 and then 3 and then 4. So 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, 24 is our result. Clear? So that's it for today's video, and